Hey, Bryce here. I just wanted to come. I'm getting ready to go to the store, but I had this like thought kind of hit me because there was a couple events that happened a couple days ago that really I wanted to put in perspective as to like why some people grow a lot faster than others when it comes to their business and it comes to their revenue. Whether it's like number of employees, whether it's just their revenue, their profit margins, like what causes people to grow. And I was there's been three incidences in the past probably 3 weeks that kind of really stick out and resonate with me when I asked, because if you ever read in the Bible, there was a thing where it says like Jesus couldn't work miracles inside of his, the city that he lived in because there was so much familiarity. Everyone didn't really respect the gift that, he was bringing to them or that he was trying to bring to them. And it was like he just couldn't really help anybody out because no one really gave him that proper respect, that he deserved. Now, for me, it's very hard for me to get some of my old friends who I used to know like in high school and college, who I've known, just growing up the area of like how to get them successful. And it's interesting, right? Because this one gentleman, for example, I used to talk to him probably about 3 years ago, and he had tried to start a business, but he just doesn't really get it off the ground. He quits very quickly, and then you look back, and he's still in the same spot, still working a job. Another gentleman, he owns a business, and does moderately well. It does about $5,000 per month with a really high profit margin, which is good for a lot of people, and for his living situation, it's good for him. But it could be greater. Or there are other people who I talk to, and they were either a musician or they're an artist. And they're trying to grow their career, but they just don't really know how to build that platform, right? And even though I'm not like a gajillionaire, right, I still am having really exponential growth as far as my income, my business, and just my audience in general too, right? Because some people might say like, it's not just about the money, but also I do have a moderately okay brand, right? It's what, 22,000 people now. It's going to be probably about 50 to 40,000 by the end of this year. All that to say, there's a reason for that, and it really comes down to compounded information and compounded learning. So, for me, right, there's about four main ways that you can learn something. One is by trying out yourself. Two is from listening, getting advice from someone else. Three is by having someone else do it for you. Four is by purchasing like a course or some sort of structured information. And I lied. There's a fifth one. The fifth one is by reading books, right? So when most people are getting started, they want to go and read books. And reading books is actually the hardest way for you to learn when you're starting out. But it's the easier way to grow once you already have some traction and you know exactly what to look for, right? It's the same thing when it comes down to trying things out on your own. And because we always want to try things out, we want to have trial and error, and some people just want to grow the slow way. They want to figure everything out themselves. For me, when I was first starting, I was in that camp. I wanted to learn from books. I wanted to be able to try everything out myself, because it's like if I could do it myself, I might as well just save the money. Which is kind of ironic because nowadays I don't want to do anything myself. If I could figure out a way to just automate my entire life, I would do that. And we're getting kind of close to that, but all that to say, those two are the hardest because you just don't know what you don't know. For example, if you're trying to do trial and error, you're going to make a lot of mistakes that you don't even know are mistakes. For example, I was afraid for a long time to spend money on advertisements. And, that was after I was already making, $10,000 a month. So I was making $10,000 a month with my accounting firm. Then I had the mentorship program, but, I never really wanted to do advertising for either one. And it was because, I was like, why would I spend money on advertisements? It's not going to just directly give me money back. Because in the past, I had spent like, $1,500, $2,000 here or there trying to run advertisements, but I didn't really have a system in place to be able to do that. And it caused me to get a lot of fear around that, right? A lot of fear around advertising. Now, if you're watching this, you got $0 per month with your accounting or bookkeeping business, like, don't run an advertisement. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying Bryce is trying to get to $100,000 per month. Bryce was already at, $10,000 with the accounting firm and a few $1,000s with per month with the mentorship program at the time that I'm telling the story. So a totally different zone, right? I could afford to spend money on ads and have it not really work out because, I had pretty good savings at the time. And all that to say, it wasn't until I did the option number 3 and 4, which was pay for like a course and then actually learn from someone else who was a little bit further ahead. Generally for me, I do courses where it's like a coaching program rather than just like, a standalone video course. And I have bought video courses in the past and they have been okay, but I found that having just that kind of like guidance and direct, support has been the easiest one for me because then people can speak into my situation. So, the trial and error and the reading the books had got me to understanding that I need to do that. But then it wasn't until I actually purchased the coaching program and I got the direct mentorship of the person like, hey, this is how you do an ad, this is how you structure it, this is how you do this, how you do this, blah, 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 right? And this is how you do all this stuff. And I was like, wow. And it was just like, zoop. But then there is a time and place after you start having things succeed that going back to like books and trial and error makes sense. For example, books are really good if you already know what information, 1, you need to succeed, 2, you're looking for more ideas on how to make your existing process work better, or 3, you're just learning to just absorb a lot of information about a subject in particular. So the reason why I say that is because most books, especially if they're designed by like a coach or like by some sort of like business person, is designed to get you to be really, really infatuated with the thing they're trying to sell you, right? And a lot of them do have really good information inside of it. But 1, if the information they're providing and the end goal is not really in line with what you're trying to do, it doesn't really make sense to read that book. And secondly, if you cannot decipher when someone is trying to, I call it like I used to call it newbie whispering, where they're just kind of creating these problems for you that don't really apply to you and are not really relevant to you, but you get sucked into it so you can actually go on whatever their opportunity is and get distracted. That's when books can be very dangerous. For someone like myself, though, I'm reading this book, let me see if I can, like Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. I really like this guy, Grant Cardone, right? And I've read this book a number of times, and it's funny, each time I read it, I like kind of just get one more like thing. Like I just found this pastor or this page like the greats. Interesting. That's cool. I never even saw this chapter, and I've read this book a number of times, kind of skipping around. But I can literally go inside and be like, okay, cool. So the one thing I'm looking for today is how to structure your day. Right? So if I want to use it for like a coaching call and someone's asking like how to structure my day to get the more sales out of it. For example, like Julie, when Julie was first starting, she was a single mom and she was like, hey, how do I structure my day? I have to, not only do my day job, but then I have daycare, and then I have to go and, when the kid's not in daycare, I have to actually go and be, around with them. And I was like, okay, cool. So what you're going to need is you're going to need to do automation, right? So you're going to have to turn on your system in the morning. You have to check your profile 1, 2, 3 times per day. You have to schedule, your consultation calls for whenever the child's going to be napping, right? And it wasn't until I started reading more of these books where I could just go and be like, okay, I need this one piece of information that's going to change my life, right? And then you're just the sum of the combined piece of information that you're getting. Right? So the courses are like the big chunks that are going to get you from like A to probably like, A to T. And then from about U to Z is where you can go and get books to more generalize your knowledge or even learn more about a field in general. For example, I'm really trying to really just understand investing. I love stock investing, but now that I'm just getting so much money coming to me that it's like I want to really dive deeper into like real estate. So I want to learn more about, single family, multifamily, and just dive into it. I just really want to get good at, the money game in general. So not just investments and like stocks, but also real estate. Then I really just want to learn and understand how these financial bodies think so I can get good at, like tax planning and just really want to understand money as a whole. So in like 10, 20, 30 years from now, when I'm still inside this game helping people out, not only can I help them grow their accounting and bookkeeping firm, but I can also help them, get to 7 figures and even get to 8 figures in some cases if that's, what they truly desire to do. And that's really where I'm shooting for long term is like, how can we just really learn this game of money so that the more money I get, the more money I know how to handle, right? So like my next goal I'm shooting for is to have about $1 million liquid inside of my cash account inside the bank. That's not counting like my SEP. That's not counting any 401ks, IRAs. That's not counting anything, or Roths. I just want to have about $1 million cash, right? But in order to get that, you need to know what to do with $1 million, because having $1 million cash, even $100,000 cash, can be very, very overwhelming, especially if it's sitting inside of one account and you don't have a plan for what to do with that. Because now a majority of your time is going to be spent to either splurging on random things and slash or just kind of panicking because you're not used to having that much money sitting in the bank account. For example, I had a student, she was actually going into like a little bit of like a frenzy because it was the first time she had like a $20,000 cleanup on top of already making like about $10,000 to about $15,000 per month, just depending on the time of the story. And she was just like, I've never had this much money in my account in one time in the span of like a month. And it just really freaked her out because she was used to growing, slowly and consistently. And yeah, she was doing about $10,000 to $15,000 a month. But when you have an extra $20,000 that you were not anticipating beforehand, it can be a little bit overwhelming, which, it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. But we had to really sit down and talk about, like, where are you going to be putting your money moving forward? What is it going to look like once you get, another $20,000 a month? What happens when you go to $35,000 a month? How are you going to really manage and maintain that money in order to make sure you keep your sanity and you still feel hungry and you don't just randomly splurge? Because I remember the first time I did $60,000 in sales in a month. It was ridiculous, right? Because for most of the month, it didn't feel like it was going to happen. But then all of a sudden, we just started making more money. People just wanted to help. People wanted to give me more money. We got some pretty big cleanups in the accounting firm. But then as soon as the month was over, I was just kind of walking and relaxing. And it was funny. I opened up my account. I was like, oh, wow, that's more money than I was expecting. That's a lot more than what usually comes in, right? And I was at the mall, and I was just walking. Then all the expensive stores started calling to me. And then once I was inside, all the people were like, hey, how are you doing? And they're really good at encouraging people who have money to spend money with them. And the lady was so encouraging. She was so excited. She was like, wow, you're killing it in life. I saw you on social media the other day. Oh my gosh, you are killing it, man. Hey, have you seen this new watch? What? Yeah, I have a watch. I have the exact same one. Okay, well, what about this one? She kept upselling, and it was very, very easy if I did not have a plan of what to do with that money to spend it on something frivolous that, in some cases, some people do view, their watches and stuff as an investment, but, I'm not really knowledgeable in watches, investing watches, so that wouldn't have been the best decision for me. So instead, I had a plan on what to put that money so that as soon as it hits the account, I know exactly what percentage is going to go where, so that I don't have just a huge amount of cash just sitting inside, kind of staring at me in the face, daring me to spend it. But hopefully this has been kind of an important video for you, right? Just knowing what is causing the skill gap between people. And the more skills you have, the easier it is to make money. For example, if I was to someone hacked my Facebook and or for whatever reason they hacked my Facebook, or Facebook just blocked my account, I could probably get up to the point that I'm at with all the information that I have really quickly, right? So if someone took all my money away, I'd probably be able to go get it back within the span of probably a year. Depending on how hard I pushed it and what progression I wanted to make. And the reason why is because I have skills. I know exactly how to go and set up an advertising campaign. I know how to go and build an audience of people who are following everything, all my content. I know how to go and write good content to get people who are interested and maybe might be on the fence to actually take action today. I know how to actually go and message people, who might need accounting services and get them to, do a consultation call with me to see if I can help them out. And it just makes it very easy for me to kind of make money really quickly. And I can identify why other people are not making the type of money that they want. That's why the mentorship program works so well, because I can look at someone's situation, think back, 7 years ago, back when I was was starting my accounting firm, you're like, okay, cool. So these are the reasons why I wasn't able to go and make money with the accounting firm at first. And I had to change X, Y, Z, A, B, C, E, F, G in order for me to actually hit it. So you have to do this, this, this. Okay, cool. Let's look at your sales consultation. Okay, so your sales consultation. Did you hear how you opened that call? It was very, very weak and you didn't really sound sure of yourself. At that point, you could kind of tell that the business owner kind of like locked up a little bit. Then when you asked your first question, they didn't really give you the straight answer that you asked for. They kind of just like did a little Jedi mind trick on you there. Did you also notice how at the end when you said your price, they kind of laughed, but it wasn't like they were like considering the price, and it wasn't like they were being disrespectful. They were actually it was more of a fear laugh. So all these like little micro things that the average person would not be able to know, and you're not gonna be able to get from a book or trying it on your own. I had to pay a lot of money in order to learn this stuff. And I mean, that's really the reason why we've encouraged people to go into the mentorship program, because it's not for everybody. Some people, they want to read books, they want to, try it out on their own first. And I was here for, a number of years. That's why it took, 14 months for me to get to $15,000 per month when I was starting my accounting firm. But nowadays, I know the best thing possible is to pay money for information, because the information you get generally tends to give you between a 10 to about 100x ROI per year. And it's just it's so funny. It's just so funny. Just kind of think back about that. But that's a story for a different day. So if you want some help growing your accounting business or your bookkeeping business, and you're tired of trying to figure out on your own, maybe you have some goals, and maybe you want to make money really quickly, but you just don't know what is the steps you need to do. Like, what are the brass tacks of what you need to do to move the needle forward? Take it from me, we've gone through a lot of trial and error. I've narrowed it down to a very, very, very distinct way to go and grow your accounting business or your bookkeeping business extremely quickly. That's why we get people in within 60 days, they're like $8,000 a month in recurring revenue. That's monthly clients that are going to keep paying them over month after month. That's not counting the cleanups they get as well. So if you want some help, you want to avoid all the mistakes, you want to just decrease that learning curve, increase the amount of money you're going to make in your first year, your second year, your third year, or just in the future in general, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me to see if I can help you out. Again, I can't help everybody, so in order to see if I can help you out, we got to go hop on a call. I got to ask you some questions. I got to see if it's a good fit. And if it is a good fit, I'm going to make you an offer, see if it's a good time for you to go, and then you can either get started or you can make arrangements for when you are ready to get started. Either way, you're going to win. Now, if you're not quite ready for that call, that's okay too. I'll just see you inside the next video, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.